Okay, great. So can you see my screen?
Yes, please.
Can you all see my screen? So I'm going to log into my own account. I think that's...
Yeah, we can see your screen.
Okay, great. So I'm going to log into Get Live account. I already have an account here. So I will just log into my account. Let me go and create. I have a lot of people. So when you go into your account, you normally see new projects over here. So I'll create a new project. I'll click on new projects, and I will say create blank projects. So over here, I'll name the projects. Let's say tutorials. And then once you start typing, it will also type into this one for you. And when you name your project, you can now select a group or a namespace. But then this is, I'll show you what we call a group. Normally you can have, let's say, you can have a lot of groups where you want to put your project. Let's say you have one for mobile, you have one for backend, you have one for, let's say, front-end web. So everything that we are doing here is like you are arranging your folders on your desktop or on your computer. So you can have a folder called, let's say, movies. Under the movies, you can have a lot of folders also there. Let's say one called foreign, one called local, and you can also have another group called music. Within that music, you can have also subfolders. One called, let's say, country music, one also called high life music, and other things. So it's still the same thing over here. We are just creating a project which is like a folder. And let's say we've already created groups, which is like big folders. And where do you want to put these projects? So I already have a lot of folders I've created or called groups. So let's say if I was having one folder called movie, I can put my project under the movie. If I have one folder also called, let's say, music, I can also place it under music. So I already have a lot of groups. I have Android, iOS, Comfort Flex, all these things. So I'm just going to place it, let's say, under, this, let me say, jump Android, and I'll select it, and it automatically, this project I'm creating will go under that folder, and I'll click on create projects. Normally, you need to make it private. So over here, I've created this folder over here. It's the same thing as you opening your Google Drive and you creating folders, putting everything over there. It's still the same thing. So if I create a project like this project is empty. There's nothing in here. So you can see that over here, it normally creates what is called a branch. And we talk of a branch as, let's say, a folder. So it's like a copy of, let's say, the main folder. So let me do this. I will first of all, after creating this project or this folder, since this is on the cloud, we can click on this clone button. Clone means you've created it on the cloud and now you want to bring it to your actual PC or on your computer. So you have to clone it. You have to get a copy of whatever is on the cloud. You have to bring a copy of it to your machine. So I can use the SSH and I can also use the HTTPS. So let's go with the HTTPS. Let me globally share my screen. Okay, great. So when I click on clone, I can now click on the HTTPS. I'm going to use the link. So this is like a link. We have two types of links. We have the one that you can use SSH, but this one we will learn it later. And we can also use the link over here. So when you click on this button, it will tell you a copy URL. And you click on it to copy the URL for you. That is the link to this folder in the cloud. It's still the same thing. If I go to, let's say my email address, I can go to my Google Drive, and on the Google Drive, I can create a lot of folders over there. And the same thing, I can be uploading, downloading, and pushing as well of any data that I want. So I can come here, create a new folder here. It's like creating a project. So let's say tutorials. And I'll create this folder. Automatically, this folder will be created and it will be empty, nothing here. It will tell me, do you want to draw files over here? So I can just open my, so this is the traditional way of uploading stuff to our Google folder, our Google Drive. I can just come to downloads. Let's say I'll copy this icon and I'll just drop it here. In this case, it will be uploading and showing the status here, and automatically I have a file here in my tutorials folder. It's the same idea. We are going to apply it on Git. So even when I go back here, I can right click on this one, and I will say get a link. So it's still the same thing as you want to clone or you want to have a copy of it, and Google Drive will generate a link for you, and you can copy the link and do whatever you want to do with this link. So the same way, we also want to get the link that connects to our folder that we've created it in the cloud. So we come to clone, we will use the same link. This one has the link here, we will just copy it. Now let's open our terminal. So we will open our terminal. Normally, if you are using Windows, you use CMD. That's command prompts. It's still the same as terminal. So let me do it clear. Yeah. So let me clear my command prompt over here. So first of all, let me even go here. Let me open the terminal from here. So let's go to, you've already copied the link. So let's go to, let's say, our documents. Let me delete this folder and create a new folder. Let's say this, I'm going to put all my projects, or let's say everything. So let's say all projects. So the folder that I've created online, I'm going to make sure that I get a copy of that same folder in this folder that I've created, all projects. So I can clone it and bring that same folder over here. So how am I going to do this? First of all, I have to open a terminal. So I'm using command Mac. So Mac allows you to open a terminal on a folder. That is the same way as when I open. So it means I've brought the root here to this folder, but then it's the same way as me opening a terminal or command prompts. And then I will say cd into the, let's say, if you're on drive D, you can say, if you're on drive C, normally when you open your terminal to open to your drive C, and probably you've created a folder in drive D, you just have to do D : and you just click enter and it will take you to your drive D. But then I'm not on Windows, so I'll straight away go to my folder. So you need to open your terminal from the folder. So automatically to bring me to this folder, and I'll just do git clone. You write the command git clone. So it's the same thing that we saw here. So you are going to tell git that we want to clone this particular folder that we've created, this empty folder that we've created online. So we just git that git should clone this. Then we now have to paste. We have to paste the command that we copied from the git here. This particular link that we copied. So we have now git clone, then the link follows. Now we can click enter, and it will tell us it is cloning tutorials. That is the project name or the folder name that we created online. And it will now tell us that it will be, so it will tell that remove the project you were looking for. Okay, fine. So I have to now make sure that So this is another trick. If you have a lot of, let's say, Git accounts on your machine, now the machine will be confused because the machine will not know which account that you are cloning this project from. So I've already logged into one other Git account, and I'm also cloning this project from another account. So currently the Git is already logged into a different account, and I'm not logging into this current account that I've opened. So I need to make sure that I tell Git that please clone from, let's say, this account. So which account? I have to now come back to this one. I'll click on this icon. It will tell me my account name is @amankus. So I will now go back and see. I'll use the top arrow button. When you click on it, to bring you back the command that you already typed, the earlier command that you typed. So I will just send the cursor back to the // and now come and type, I think it's Amankus, and you bring your @. Now this is the folder or the Git account I want you to go and clone from. So this is when you have multiple accounts and you click on enter again. It will now be redirecting and go to the account that you want the Git to direct to, because I have multiple accounts. I can say I can sign out of this account and I can use another account. I have another account called Jumper. However, I also have another account called Jackbuild, and I can log into this Jackbuild account. But then that's not what I'm using currently. So let me log into the Jackbuild account. So you see, this is another account that I have. So when you're cloning a project, you need to, and when you have, let's say, multiple accounts, that's where you need to tell Git that, hey, I want you to clone from this particular account. So let me go back to the Amankus account. Okay, cool. So now we've been able to clone this particular project that we created. That is, it is under the folder called Android. So when you go to your menu and you click on, let's say, groups, your groups, you see all the groups that you've created. I have the Maya Mobile, Maya Company Effects. So all these are folders that I created. That is, I've grouped all the projects. So some are Flutter projects, some are Android projects, some are iOS projects, some are pure Java projects, some are for some people, some are also for some other companies. So when I go under Android folder or under Android group, I will see the project I have under Android. So I have a lot of Android projects here. And this is one of the projects that we just created, which is the tutorials. And we go to that tutorials, and that's it. This is the folder. So it's an empty folder. Just that we just have some README text over here that shows, but this is nothing. It's just telling you what to do with this particular folder or projects. At this point, any question or any contribution? Any question or any contribution to this point? Okay, great. So we will continue. So over here now, I've been able to clone the projects. I've been able to clone the project. And now, mind you, anytime you create a project, we have one branch that is created. Normally, it's called a master, but now I think GitLab has changed it to something called main. So normally we have something called branches. So it's like a tree that has got branches. Everything is being fed from the, let's say, the main tree, and we have like different branches. So you can have a lot of branches under the same projects. So I can click on this particular add button and I'll say create a new branch for me, and it will tell me which part of the project you want to create a branch from, and I will say, okay, create a copy of the main for me. So it's like you having, let's say, you having this particular folder, and I'll just say I want you to create a copy of this same folder for me. So I'll copy this folder I'll just copy this folder. And over here, I'll just tell the computer to paste the same thing here. So to create tutorials copy. So let's say this is a branch. Let's say we created it from tutorial. So we have another folder which is called, let's say, develop. So it means we've created another branch or another folder from this tutorial, which is the main project. And we will have it here. We can have multiple branches. So let's say this is the production also branch. So in real world, this is how you do it. Like in normal, if you are creating folders on your computer, that is, you have this master or the main branch, and you made a copy of this same folder and you called it develop. I can also make another copy of the same folder again and call it production. As well, I can also make a copy of this branch. Now, I will not make a copy of the tutorial. I can make a copy of this develop branch and now call it, let's say, tutorials hyphen develop hyphen, let's say, demo. So this means this is a copy of the develop branch, while the develop branch is also a copy of the tutorials branch. So this is how, in real terms, like this, how we explain it. So let's go to our console or our terminal. So when we did the git clone, what it did was it was able to do this cloning into tutorials, and it created all these. It cloned the folder, which is an empty folder, and now we have it here. So now what we will do is we need to, if you're on Windows, you use the CD command, which means you are moving to the next or the previous folder. So CD into, currently we are on this folder. We are on all projects folder. We need to CD or move into this particular folder. That is the folder that we cloned the projects. So let's say CD tutorials. So you need to spell the same name. And now you click on enter and it will take you into the tutorial. So you see this is my root. Now currently my root is at tutorials folder. So when I do git status, it means you want to know the status of the whole project. Do you have any files in there? Do you have anything there? Sorry, git status. Yes. So when you click on enter, when you type git status and click on enter, it will tell you that currently we are on the main branch. And it tell you that what you have on your local machine is the same thing as what you have in the cloud. There have been no changes. So it will tell that your branch is up to date with origin/main. So it will tell that you have nothing to push. Your commit, you have nothing to commit, and your working tree is clean, which means you have nothing to push to your cloud because there's nothing inside this folder. It's the same copy as what you have in the cloud. So it will tell you that there's nothing here, and then it's true too. We don't have anything. The README file that we see over here, that is the text here that we see, is the same file that we have here, which is the readme.md. Now, what we are going to do is, okay, fine, we want to put something here. As we went to our Google Drive, we wanted to push something into our Google Drive. So let's do the same thing using command to also push to our Git repository. So that's where we use the, so let me go here. Let's say I'll copy this file, the same file. I'll come back to our all projects folder. I'll go to the tutorials folder and I'll paste this here. So now this one, we have this one on our local machine and we don't have it on the cloud yet. So when I do git status again, it will tell me that, hey, right now you have a new file. Whenever a new file is being added, it has the color red. That means you've not yet added it to your, or you've not yet added it to your Git tree so that you can push it. It's like you need to have a basket where you can add everything and send them at a go and push them to your cloud. So when I did get status, it told me that now I'm on the branch main, which is true. I'm on the main branch. It will tell me that my branch is up to date, which is true. I have nothing to commit. Sorry, I have it here. Sorry. Yeah, so it's them on my main branch. Your branch is up to date with origin main, but then I have something called an untracked files. When we say of untracked files, it means something that we've not yet added to the basket. So whenever you want to push a code or you want to push a file to your Git, you need to add it to, let's say, your cart or your basket. You need to add a file to your basket before you can now upload everything in your basket to your cloud. But then, though we've added it here, but then we need to add it. You've added it to this folder, this local folder that we have here. But then we need to add it to the basket and now push everything from the basket to the repository, to the cloud. So how do we do it? We use the git command called add. So what I'll do is I'll just do git add and now come and copy this file and paste it here. So I'll tell Git that please Git add this particular file which is in red. And when you do that, you just click enter and nothing shows. It means it has added. So let's do the Git status again, see our current status of our folder. So now you see that the color has changed to green. It means now we've now added the file to the folder, to the basket, and it is now being prepared to be pushed to our current cloud folder that we have here. We've not yet pushed it. It has now been added to our basket. So what we need to do is, now that we've done adding, it is telling us that now we need to push to our folder, our cloud folder. But whenever you want to push something to your cloud folder, you need to write a message. You need to write something to show that, okay, fine. What did you do? Okay, fine. I pushed the check icon. So assuming you are writing the code, you did a change, let's say a change on the profile page where you allowed people to update their profile. So you need to add at least a message that, okay, fine, when you are pushing this code, anytime I come back to the cloud and I want to check all the history of the changes that I've pushed or all the files I've pushed, at least I need to see something called a commit message. You need to write a message to see that, okay, fine, that's what you actually did during that period. So you have, let's say, hundreds of files you're uploading. You need to write a message that, okay, fine, these are the things that I did, and I'm pushing them to the, or I am adding these files to the repository there. So that's what you call the commit message. So the commit message should be meaningful so that anytime you come back to it, you see that, okay, fine, this is what I did. It shouldn't be like you're writing an essay. It should be just like a phrase, something like that. So I'll just do git commits. Now let's use the message sign, which is -m or the -m message. And now let's bring our double quotes and let's write something inside our double quotes here. So let's say pushing, let's say pushing first icon. And now when I write git commits, git commit means you are now going to commit everything that you've done and you want to now push them. So then we need to add a message. So we add the -m, which is -message. Then we followed by our message that we want to add. So anytime I go to my folder and I read the commit, okay, this is what I wrote here. It means this is what actually I did on the code. And you can now go into the code and say, okay, yeah, it's true, this is what I did. So when you are done writing your message, you can hit enter. And now let's do git status. So now you see that it is telling me when I did git status, it means now I've now committed my file. So what I need to do is I need to now push everything that I've done. So it's not like you've added many files into your basket and you now want to commit everything. You now want to prepare everything that, okay, finally, this is what I've added and I'm writing a message attached to it. So when you are done committing, that is, you don't want to add anything again. You are done into the basket. Now you need to now push the whole basket to the cloud, and the basket will now deliver your files that you added. So you use the command called the git push. When you do git push, it means you should push everything that is in your basket now to your cloud. So I hit enter, and you wait for the command to process. And it will tell you that counting objects, thread, and data compression, blah, blah. These things are not necessary, but then all what it needs to do is that when you are done, it should bring you back to your command. And it means now we are done. So we will go back to our folder over here. Let's reload this page. Or let me click on this one. We should be able to see our commits that we did here. Pushing first icon over here. And when you go into this, when you click on this commits, it will tell you what we actually did here or what we brought here. There's the icon that we brought here. It was just one icon. And that's it. At this point, any question? Any question? Okay, great. So let's continue. We are going to add a file over here. So let me in this. Let me do this. So let's say we're going to add this new file. Okay, so let's say add code. And let's save this file into our okay, let me save it into the document and now save as code.txt. Okay, cool. So now let's go to the documents and go and copy. So let's go and copy this file into this folder. So we have this code here. So we have this code here, add code. So let me comment this. Sorry. So over here, let's say public. We are just writing a normal syntax over here. So public class. Let's say I want to add, let's say, void left. It should print hello world. So over here, we've just added a code over here in our class, and we will click on save. So we've saved our file over here. So now let's go back to our terminal. Let's go back to our terminal. Let's do the git status again. It will tell us that we've added a new file called code.txt. Okay, let's add more files. Let me copy some files over here. Let me copy this. Copy this. Copy this as well. Let's go and paste. So we are going to add a lot of files at once. Okay, cool. So now let's do the git status again. It tells us that okay, fine, we've added a lot of files over here. So you have the test prime, the blank, the code, the .hub, the PDF. All these are files. And we want to add these files at a go. So what we need to do, as the first one, we copied one after we copied. So this one, assume we have like hundreds of these files. Do we need to copy them one after the other? Or how do you think we should do? Any suggestion? Hello. Should I mention names? Dazi.
Okay, so I remember we used dot. The last time we used dot to commit all the files. If we have more than one file, if we want to commit all of them, we use the dot. So
okay.
add.
Okay.
They're like add dots. They need to add all.
Okay, great. What of Emmanuel? Emmanuel. If you're talking on your mute. Okay, great. So I think that's it. You got it. So we just use git add and we use dot. That is when we want to add everything at a go. You click on enter. You can now do git status again. It will now show you that they have all been added to the basket and to show the green color. So now what we need to do is we need to tell the basket that we are done. We are no more going to add anything. So we have to use the commit and add at least a message to it to show whatever that we've done. So we tell the basket that kids, please commit these files for us. We've committed ourselves, so let's add a message to it. So let's say added new files and logos. So this is our commit message. We click on enter. We just use git push, and then everything should be pushed to our repository to find it has now pushed. So let's go back to this tutorials folder. And now when we go to, you see that we have our commit over here. When we open this one, it will show us all the files that we added. So we have this one, here we have this one, we have this one, here we have this one. So the same thing that we have on like Google Drive. So now let's do a simple scenario over here. Let's go back to our file. Let's do this. Print hello world. Now, let's add another function called void. Void start engine. String, so which accepts a value data and it prints. The value is concatenates the data over here. And we will save this. Now, when we go back to in this same file, we've just edited this file and we've added this particular part of the project, this part of the code. So let's go back to our terminal. Let me clear this. And now let's do git status. Sorry, so let's save this. So we will go back to our, let me go back to this code over here. Okay, sorry. I think I'm adding a wrong file, but okay, fine. So let me copy this, paste this one here. Yeah, I think this is what's misleading us. Yeah. Okay, cool. So now let's do this. So it's the same file that we have here. So I think the first one is the same. Okay, cool. So now let's go here and do git status here. So when we do git status, we see that it has now tell us that we've modified this file. Initially, we just had only add code over here. We just had only add code. So let's confirm from here. I think the first one we couldn't save, so it was only the add code. You see, we have only add code here. And now we've now added this whole thing, public class burger void left everything over here. So what we need to do is we need to make sure that these changes that we've done in the file needs to also be pushed to the repository or to the folder. So what do we need to do? Any suggestion? Hello? I think only Darcy, I can see your name here. The others, I can't see their name. And Arthur. I can see DJ Cleo 281. Any suggestion? Okay, Darcy, can you help? Hello?
So what I remember is that we need to pull the other folder. I don't know whether I'm right, but you pull it, then you make the
Okay, you've tried, but then right now, let's say we've already pushed this, that is this far. We already have this far in the, let's say the repository, which is here, the code.txt. And the only code that is in there, or the only text that is in this file is the add code, which we added initially. We don't have any code. It's the same file that we've opened, and now we've modified. We've modified the file here. We just added public class burger distance here. Initially, we had this, but now we've added this, and it has been modified. So when we did the git status, it's telling us that we've modified this file. So what we need to do again is just do git add again. That we need to add whatever that we've modified. Here, we can do this, copy this, and add. Or we can just do the git. Since it's one, we can copy. But if you don't want to copy, you can just do your git add and the dot, and it will still do the same thing for you. So we do the git status again, and it will turn to green. So you now have to do what? What's the next step? After you've added, what is the next step? After you've added to the buckets, what is it again?
you commit
You need
it.
to finalize. Yes, exactly. You need to finalize on everything and add a message to it. That's okay, fine. Added new code to start. So we had a new code with lift and start engine. So let's say added new code to start engine. I'll commit it and I'll do the git push. And you click on enter, you wait for it to push. Okay, great. So now let's go to the folder again. On this one, you'll see the commit that we just made. That's added new code to start engine. So let's click on it and let's go into the folder that we did. So here is it. It will show you, first of all, we had only this one with a red line. And what we did was, look at it. We added these green things, the plus here means these are the things that we added over here. And it shows these are the new things that we added. And that's it. So we have it over here. So one thing I want to show you over here, let me go to these commits. You see, to keep track of all the commits that we've made, and every commit has an ID that it automatically creates for us. So let's look at something. I want us to look at something. Let's do git. So this thing that we have over here, you can also use the command to do the same thing. See, you can say git log. So let's open this thing over here. The moment you do git log, to bring you all the commits that you've made on that particular branch. So the first one was this one. Then we did the second one, the third one, the fourth one. So normally when you create the folder for the first time, it does its initial commit. That's what is being done first, which is here. And it will show you all the time it did. That is Monday, June 6th. That is 21/02/16. That is 20/55/38. It is 20/48/26. So we have everything here. And currently we have all these. So these commits or these IDs that we see them here. This is the short form of it, but when you copy it, you see that it's very long. When you let's paste it here. You see that it's very long here. Just showing the small part of it. And it's the same thing that you can see here. It's the same thing that you can see here. And it's here. So the first initial commit, that is the first one. So it's when it's arranging them, it arranges them in, let's say, descending order relative to time. So this is the initial commit, this one. And the second one, pushing on first, this one is this. The third one here is here. And the fourth one here is here. So this is the current one that we have. Now, what about, okay, fine. You did this code. You added this code. And now, let's say all these 1, 2 that you added probably is messing up your code. You want to make sure that your project goes back to this particular commit that you made. So under this commit, the only thing that we had was only this file. What do we do? Can anyone help? Assuming all the comments that came later, that you added all the files, the project, everything over there, they are all messing up your code. And you want to go back to a particular commit, this particular commit, so that commit at that time, the only thing that you had there was only this icon. So that all the changes that you made later, you discard them. You don't use them anymore, so that you go back to a working, let's say a working code that you want. So over here, what you do is, let's go back to our commits. You come to this commits. And that commit is this one. You're going to probably roll back our changes, all the changes that we've done. I want to roll back to this particular this commit. And this commit has got this ID. So you can copy it. The same thing, I can come here. When you do the get log, it will bring you all these IDs over here. All these IDs over here. And this first one is here. This second one is here. So what I can do is the same thing as I copied from here, I can also copy from here. And what I need to do is, we call a command called checkout. Normally, when you have, let's say, a branch, when you say, as we did here, we have this one as a branch, we created a new branch, another branch, another branch. And now you are in this branch. Currently we are on this branch. We want to check out, or we want to move on to another branch and go and work in that branch. Later we can come back to this branch. So you moving or going away from this branch to another branch, that is what we call checkout. That means you want to leave that particular room. But when you go to a hotel and you want to check out, like you are leaving that room, you can come back later. You can check in. That is checking. But when you're checking out, it means you are moving out of the room. So we are now moving out of this branch and want to go into provide another branch, which is called tutorial develop. So over here, you can also check out to another commit message. All the commit message, mind you, treat them as branches, but then they are virtual branches that you can see. So what we do is we want to check out to this particular commit. That is whatever we had there, we want to roll back to that particular commit. So what I'll do is I'll use the get checkout and I'll copy this ID here, the hash ID, and paste here, and I'll click on enter. Okay, sorry, I think we have, so okay, fine, let's learn something from here. When you are going to check out, make sure in your current folder or your current project or repository, you don't have any, you've not made any changes. So let's see if I've made any changes. Okay, status. So it means they told me that I've modified the code, this one. So let me go back to this. I don't know whether I modified it. Okay, fine. So let me do this. I think there's a space here. Let me see if that space will go. Okay, still modified. Let me go here and see. Let me save this. Okay, fine, great. So I've removed all the spaces that I bought. So all the changes. So like assuming now we don't have any changes that we've not made. So this is the one that we pushed that we have over here. The one that we pushed, we have it here. So assuming after pushing everything, this code is messing up everything. And we want to roll back to one of the earlier commits. So I will now, let me use this one, get checkout, and I'll check out to this particular commit. So I'll hit enter. After hitting enter, it will tell me that you are in a detached head state. You can look around, make experimental changes and commit them, and you can discard any commits you make in this state without impacting any branches by performing another checkout. If you want to create a new branch to retain commits you create, you may do so now or later by using the -b with the checkout command again. So this is just a message it's just giving you. So right now, let's go to this folder. Look at this folder. What do we have here? You see that we had a lot of files here, but now, since we did a checkout, it has rolled back to where when we had only this icon in the folder. Do you understand this point? We had, we copied a lot of folders here, but now since we did a checkout to that particular commit, so we've rolled back to that particular commit. It has now rolled us back to that particular commit where we had only this icon there. And we can now do whatever we want to do with this particular folder. So our head that was on the main branch has now been detached. That's why it is telling that you are in detached head. So we are no more in this particular current commit. Our main commit, current commit is this one, but now we've detached from this commit and we've now rolled back to this particular commit where we had only just one icon in our folder. Only one file in our folder. So that is how the Git checkout also works. There are a lot of ways you can also use the Git checkout. Assuming you've created a branch, you want to check out to another branch. That is what I demonstrated using these folders. It's the same thing. Any question here? So that we learn the last one, which is branches, and we can close on this. Any question or contribution? So now, assuming we've rolled back to this particular branch, now we want to go back to our main branch back where we had a lot of files here. So we can still go back and let's say we will just do the Git checkout again. That's okay, fine. We should go back to our main commit. That is our latest commit. So I'll go here and copy our latest commit. And it needs to bring me the files back that we had earlier. So I'll paste it here, click enter. And now you see it brought all the files back here. So we had a blank, the check, the code, don't have everything here. So it has now brought me back the files that we had here from the repository. So it has pulled them again from there. Any question? So let me delete these folders. I've used them already for. So this is the folder we are currently working on. This is the tutorials folder. So right now, let's learn the last one and we can close. Our time is up. we have something called branches. As I explained earlier, a branch is like you creating a copy of that same folder. So assuming we have this tutorials folder, we want to create a branch of it, where this branch will still have the same data that we have here. It's like you're just creating a copy of it where you can go and do some experimental over that particular branch. If everything goes on well, you can now bring that branch, the changes that you did on that branch, back to your main folder. So assuming you have this folder, and this folder, you've pushed everything that you have there, your code to live, and people are using the app, you are using the app, you want to do some small changes on the app. You don't straight away go to the folder and start working on the folder, because if you mess up anything, it will be very difficult for you to keep track of it. So what you normally do is you create a copy of the same folder and you go and work on it. If everything goes on well and you test everything is okay, you now create something called a merge request, and you can merge whatever changes that you've done in that new branch into this working branch, so that you don't mess things up. That's how normally we do things in the real world. You don't normally straight away work on the folder, on a production folder. No, we have something called like a develop branch, or let's say a staging branch, and you can go and work on that particular branch. When you're done, you test everything, you think everything is okay. Then you now come and merge whatever changes you've done from that particular branch into your current live branch, so that everything can also go live for people to start using. So let's start by creating a branch. So over here, they told us that if you want to create a new branch, you can use the -b to create a new branch. So that one too, since we are moving out of this copy to another folder, from this folder to another copy of that same folder, it means we are still checking out from this particular live folder into a new folder of the same live folder. So we still use the git checkouts, and we use the -b, which is create a new branch. You know, B stands for branch. So git checkout from currently where we are, and go and create a new folder for us, and we should give that new folder a name. So let's say develop. Mind you, we are in the branch called main over here. We're in the branch called main. We have only one branch here called main, and we are creating a copy of this branch, and we are going to call it develop, where we can do all our development, and when we are done, we can now bring it back to the main. So git checkouts -b develop, that is the name of the branch that we are going to create. You can click enter, and now it will tell you that it has switched to a new branch called develop. So let me see if I can increase. Okay, cool. So it means now we've checked out to a new branch. So let's do the git status, and it will tell you that we are on branch develop and nothing to commit. We don't have anything to commit on our branch. Let me clear the screen and do the git status again. So we are on the branch develop. So it means we have a copy of this branch. But mind you, everything that we are doing here is local. We've not yet pushed this branch that we've created on our local machine to our online or our cloud. So when you come here, you still have only one branch here. So we need to make sure that the local branch that we've created on our local machine, we need to push this particular, let's say, folder to the repository. Assuming you've done changes today, you couldn't finish, and you want to continue tomorrow, probably next weekend, probably the development you're going to do on this develop branch is going to take you like, let's say, 3 months. You can't keep everything on your machine for 3 months until you are done before you can merge it back to the live. No. What about if your machine gets spoiled and now you lose the data? So what you need to do is that every day when you're done, you need to push the code that you've done to the repository, so the repository can keep track of it. Even if you lose your machine, you can just access your GitLab or your GitHub or Bitbucket, anything, and you can now access your code. So we need to make sure that we push this develop branch. So you can just do git, since we don't have anything, we don't have any code over here. So let's assume let's do something over here. So currently we are in the same folder, but just that the branch is not on main, the branch is on develop. And since the develop is a copy of the main branch, everything here looks the same thing because it's just a copy of it. So nothing changes. So we can add something. Let's say we can add something here. Let me add okay, this file is to okay, let me add this data. So now let me add this data here. So hidden icon. So let's do the get status again. So on this branch, it will tell us that. So we are on this particular branch, which is on branch develop. We have untracked files. That is files that we've not added to our buckets. So unless you add it to your bucket before you can commit, since you've not added anything to our bucket, it's telling us that we have nothing added to commit, but we have untracked files present. So we should use the git add command. So what we need to do is to git add, to add everything. Do the get status again. It shows green. So now, since you've added to the bucket which shows green, we need to commit it and tell the bucket that we are done. So we should now push everything. So added hidden icon, and now do the git push. Sorry. So over here, since it's a new branch and we don't have this branch on your remote repository, what we need to do is we need to now tell the Git that, okay, fine, we've created a copy or we've created a branch of the main thing. So we are pushing this branch, but then go and create the branch for us before you push the code inside. So we need to say that git push, you can use this command. Though they have this command here, git push set upstream origin. So this is what it's telling us to use. This one also works, but normally I like git push origin minus u, which means create like the branch for us. If it's not there, create it for us. And what is it going to create? The branch name is called develop. So git, it should push. So this is what it's going to do. It's going to create the branch develop for us, and it will push the code that we have in our local machine into this develop branch. So this is going to do the two things for us. It's the same thing. This will say git push and set upstream origin develop. So it's the same thing, git push origin minus u develop, and we click enter. So first of all, it's going to create a branch for us first, and after that, it pushes the code also there for us. So it will tell us it has created and set up track remote. So it has now been able to create this develop branch on the remote repository. So when we come back here and let's reload this page. Now we can have our branches. We have the develop branch and we have the main branch. So we have the local branch that we created now on our remote here. So you can easily switch between the branches. I can go to the develop branch, do what I want to do, and close there and switch back to the main branch. So you see that on the main branch, we don't have this hidden icon. So look at here. We have currently we are on the develop branch, so we have this hidden icon. But on the main branch, we don't have this hidden icon. So I can say git checkout, that is leave this current branch and go to the main branch. So git checkout main, I'll click enter. And it will tell me that it has straight to the main. So let's go and verify. It's true. When we went to the main, we don't have the hidden icon here, which is true. On the main branch, we don't have the hidden icon. When I switch back to the develop branch, that is git checkout develop, it will bring back the hidden icon over here. So that is it. That is it for today. Today we've learned. So we've learned the git add. Let me use this one further. So we've learned the git add, the git commit -m with a message. We've learned the git push. We've learned the git checkouts. We've also learned the git checkouts -b, which creates a new branch. We've learned the git log, which gives us a log of everything that we've committed. And I think we've also learned the git clone to clone a new project. But again, and also the git push origin -u, then the branch name. So these are the things I think we've learned today. Any question or contribution before we close for today? I think our time is fast spent. Any contribution? Any question? All right, cool. So I think silence means we are actually have it. So I think we can close here, and we can always go back to the recording